Hi, I'm Dov Bear Cohen. I'm the guy who makes SCP Comics. Today I want to give you a behind-the-scenes peek at how I make them. First, let's go back to the beginning, and this is a perfect opportunity to say a huge thank you to Elliot Goldvicht, who 4 years ago created the SCP Shavuos Challenge. He asked me to contribute a few comics to that learning material. I did it. It was so much fun. It was an amazing opportunity, and I've been making them ever since. Just thought I'd bring some nostalgia here. What you're looking at is the first SCP comic ever. And when you see today's comic, you'll see just how much Miri and Moishi have grown, but not physically, they're still exactly the same size. Anyway, the SCP comics all start from the question and answer sheets from the Smicha Chaver Shiurim. I look over those question and answer sheets and I try to find the juiciest scenario. And what I'm talking about is a scenario that kids can relate to, that has a lot of conflict potential, that these guys can go at each other like the Dickens. Once I've chosen a question I want to use, I start to write the script. Sometimes the whole idea comes right away, and other times I have to do a little more exploration. The comic that I'm showing you took the exploration route. You'll see the script kind of explode with ideas until at some point things start to snap into place, and then it shrinks back into something more concise. I also did a little bit of research for this one. I had to find out what seals eat, and I was so happy to learn that amongst other things, they eat squid, which is so gross and so in keeping with Moishi's character that I decided he had to say that during this comic. After I've got my script pegged down, I move on to creating the backgrounds. I create the backgrounds in a 3D program, and the reason I don't draw them is because I want to have rich, detailed backgrounds, but I can't spend too much time drawing them over and over again. With a 3D model of the background, I can make as many pictures of that scene as I want without spending extra time on it. To make the backgrounds match with the 2D art, I first set up the text and make a very simple drawing of the panel ideas, which I can take into 3D, and then I use the magic of the 3D program to go into Miri and Moishi's house, which seems pretty cool. But here's a fun fact: their house does not have any bathrooms. I find an angle in the house that works with the composition I made and render it. Render is like taking a picture in the 3D software. Sometimes I do the render and then I find out there's a little glitch, like for example, the fridge was floating off the ground or something, and then I have to go back, lower the fridge, re-render. It's not the end of the world. Once I've brought those backgrounds into my drawing program, I start with a sketch. The idea of the sketch is to work from big to small. It's definitely true in art, it's probably true in life too. Working from big to small means that when I zoom into one detail later on, I'm not going to lose track of that big picture. This is where I try to get the scale, the poses, and the expressions just right before I lock them in. Once I'm happy with my rough drawing, I go over it with clean black lines. This is a project I do completely digitally, so I'm actually drawing on a gray tablet on my desk, and the picture is showing up on my screen, which is sometimes a little tedious because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and when I say a bit, I mean out-and-out card-carrying perfectionist. So you might see me drawing lines, undoing, drawing them again. I get there eventually. In this stage, I clean up the sketch, make any small fixes, and add in little details. After that, it's time to color in the characters. This part makes me really appreciate the amazing technology we have in our era. For example, there's a color called ultramarine blue, which during the Renaissance was made from minerals imported from Afghanistan. It was so tricky to make that it was as expensive as gold. These days you get basically the same color in your Crayola 24 packs. And when I work digitally, I have access to millions of colors and I can fill in the shapes in a flash. You might see me at the end filling in these tricky little sharp angles which are hard for the fill tool to recognize, so I guess technology has its weak points too. The last thing to do are the speech bubbles. There's a whole science to well-crafted speech bubbles, but I am not a speech bubbleologist, so I just try to keep it readable. And there you have it, a finished SCP comic. I hope you enjoyed watching the process, and if you want to see more and hear about my upcoming projects, head over to dovetrail.com and sign up for my email list. Thanks for watching!